Hello and welcome to the seminar on strategic planning. My second life name is the Chazza, also known as Chazzaman Ryokan, and in real life Charles Richter, and I'll be leading you through the strategic planning maze. Before I start, a few administrative matters. During the delivery of the seminar, please do not be afraid to ask questions. To do so, please type a tilde into the local chat window and wait for me to call your name. Then simply type your question or comment and I'll try to give you a satisfactory answer. Remember, there are no stupid questions, only stupid answers. I prepared a note card with all these posts. This will be available at the end of the seminar. If you'd like to take a copy before you leave, please ask me. So without further ado, let's get started. The purpose of the seminar is to address 4 important questions about strategic planning, namely, what is strategic planning, why is it important, who should do it, and how to carry out a strategic planning exercise. Let me start by answering the what question. So what is strategic planning? A very quick definition would be a place for everything and everything in its place. According to the Wikipedia, the free online encyclopedia, and I quote, strategic planning is an organization's process of defining and plotting its strategy or direction and making decisions on allocating its resources to pursue this strategy. This includes its capital and people. Unquote. And probably a whole lot more artifacts. Therefore, strategic planning can be broken down into 2 distinct areas. 1. Business strategic planning, BSP, which is the macro level. And 2. Information technology strategic planning, ITSP, or the micro level. So to put it simply, business strategic planning addresses what the business is and possibly should be, and information technology strategic planning addresses how the business operatives go about achieving their business strategic plan. Before I go on to the next question, why strategic planning is important, I'd like to point out that a business can be defined as being made up of one person or a group of people. Hence, strategic planning can and should be carried out regardless of the number of people in the so-called business. Depending on the number of people involved, it should take between 3 and 30 days to produce a sound business strategic plan. The deliverables from this exercise should be a document called the proof of concept, which I'll describe a bit more when I address the 4th question. And it should take between 10 and 45 days to produce a sound IT strategic plan. The deliverable from this exercise should be a document called the proof of logic, which I will again describe in more detail when I address the 4th question. Any questions so far? So why is strategic planning important? Strategic planning is important from both the macro, or the global business perspective level, as well as the micro level. According to a Mr. John E. Lawler of an organization called Practical Decisions, and I quote, from a macro perspective, business today gets done in a global marketplace. Change is occurring at an unprecedented pace. At a micro level, the level of an individual company, strategic planning provides the company with purpose and direction. So how are you going to get somewhere if you don't know where you are going? Unquote. But how many times have we heard the expression, if you fail to plan, then plan to fail? Well, everyone plans. Then why do most plans fail to deliver? The answer to this question can be answered by the next 2 questions, namely, who should do the planning and how to plan. Any questions so far? So who is involved with strategic planning? Strategic business planning is all about identifying ideas and concepts being the operative word. Hence, the people best suited for these tasks are senior managers, such as chief executive officers, chief financial officers, chief operating officers, chief information officers, and chief technical officers, etc. And middle managers or division heads, such as marketing managers, sales managers, accounting managers, etc. And guided by someone with the knowledge of business objects, business knowledge classes, and business actions or processes, also known as their strategies and tactics. IT strategic planning is all about putting the business logic in place to support the business knowledge and actions. Hence, the people best suited for these tasks are operational managers or departmental heads, such as accounts receivable, accounts payable, order processing, etc. And guided by someone with knowledge of data analysis, database design, and logic or data flow mapping, also known as program specifications. If these tasks are undertaken by the wrong people in the wrong order, then strategic planning will more than likely fail. Any questions so far? So this brings us to the last question: how to carry out a strategic planning exercise. This is probably the least understood aspect of strategic planning, and where most strategic planning exercises fail to deliver their intended results. There are a number of approaches, and depending on which one an organization uses or purchases, the time to carry out a strategic planning exercise and the costs involved can vary enormously. One method could take anything up to 9 months and cost well over $500,000, whilst another may take 1 month and cost $32,000. But generically, strategic business planning requires senior and middle managers to formulate and 1. Agree on their business objectives, comprising their goals and measures, or performance indicators or issues. 2. Prioritize their goals in order to help them focus on uncovering their measures by concentrating firstly on their weaknesses and then on their strengths. 3. Undertake a cost-benefit analysis using the measures identified in 2 above. 4. Uncover and define their business knowledge classes. They do this by using the measures to help them focus on identifying the knowledge required to support the attainment of the measures. 5. Identify and formulate the business actions or processes by way of their strategies, the macro-level processes, and tactics, the micro-level processes, by using the knowledge classes and associations linking them. I will next discuss the documentation that needs to be produced and signed off before management commits to any further development. The proof of concept, mentioned earlier, needs to be completed and should contain the following: 1. Strengths and weaknesses, which come from the business goals. 2. Mitigating factors as to why it is a weakness. 3. Key issues or key performance indicators, including marketing plans, risk analyses, etc. 4. Cost-benefit analysis. 5. Business action plans, outlining their core and ancillary strategies and tactics. 6. Suggested IT projects in their preferred implementation sequence. And 7. A complete glossary of terms. Management presentations should be produced outlining the major findings contained in the proof of concept, namely the objectives and strategies. Finally, I will discuss the how to carry out an IT strategic planning exercise. IT strategic planning requires operational management to formulate and agree on the following: 1. The order in which the IT projects are to be developed, and 2. Use rapid application development techniques to strawman the programs guided by the tactics. The proof of logic mentioned earlier needs to be completed and should contain the following: 1. A system release plan, including costings. 2. Subject area overviews, which links the database tables to the tactics and strategies. 3. A detailed database design, includes the fields such as person name, date of birth, etc. 4. The logical screens and reports, together with the pseudocode explaining how each program will work. This can be at a high level or a very detailed level. And 5. A glossary of terms. Management presentations should be produced outlining the major findings contained in the proof of logic, subject areas, and program specifications. Any questions so far? Having now addressed the 4 questions, I would like to sum up as follows. 1. What? Strategic planning covers both the macro and micro world of a business. 2. The why. Without a plan, no one will know where to go nor when to do anything. 3. The who. All levels of management must be involved, as well as skilled information architects. 4. The how. The approach, when to carry out a strategic planning exercise, how long it takes, and the documentation produced depends upon the framework or technique the organization decides to use or purchase. The proof of concept and proof of logic and the approach to produce them, as mentioned in the previous section, are the products of the Repose technique, and I can explain more about them in private. I will repeat this warning. If the tasks outlined in the how are undertaken by the wrong people in the wrong order, then strategic planning will more than likely fail. In future seminars, I will cover a number of techniques you can use to carry out a strategic planning exercise, and I will go into the strengths and weaknesses of each of them. Well, this brings us to the end of this seminar, and I'd like to thank you for your attendance and hope that you have gained an insight into the what, why, who, and how of strategic planning. As I mentioned earlier, a note card of this seminar is available. Please click on my image to receive one. Please fill in the feedback form, as it helps us fine-tune our presentations. I'll be available to answer any more questions either here or in my office. Further information about the Repose technique can be found on our website, www.repose.com or www.repose.org. You can email me at charles.richter@repose.com. Once again, thank you for your attention, and fare thee well till next we meet.